Got a question off of YouTube from a guy named Lee Nash, and he said, "Hey, Mr. Bell, how often do you speed squat?" Speed squats are typically done 52 weeks out of the year. So nearly every single week, I'd say, I compete 3 or 4 times a year, so there's 3 or 4 weeks off. But the week before the meet. Like lately I've been doing kind of Thompson-style squats where I've pulled out some of the speed work, some of the typical speed work that we normally do, but still doing some raw speed work. So speed squats are almost always in there. I've also gotten a lot of questions about speed deadlifts. How often should you speed deadlift? The answer to that is simple. When in doubt, hit up some speed pulls. When you're not sure what the hell to do, and you're like, "Oh, I deadlifted last week, but I don't know what to do today." When you're like that, when you're a little retarded about your training and you're paralyzed from information overload, and you're hearing people crying about their CNS being overloaded and all this other bullshit, do some speed pulls. Keep the weights light, move the weights fast, and keep your form. One note about speed pulls is you don't want to try to move the weight with some ridiculous speeds that are not going to actually happen in the meet. You do want to be moving fast. You do want to be producing a lot of force. You do want to be lifting with a lot of violence. But one thing is that you can kind of lift the weights shitty with kind of bad form if you're going too fast, and that's something that you don't want to do. So get the right weight on there. I'd say start at like 60% and kind of work your way up a little bit until you get to around 70 to 80% range, and that'll be much better, a much more realistic deadlift than just ripping 50% off the ground for set after set. If your best pull is like 500 and you only have 185 on there in a band, I mean, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. So make sure you get the appropriate weight on there just before your form starts to fall apart, and make sure you kill that shit. I speed pull probably about 2 to 3 times per month, along with at least one heavy pull per month. That's it from supertraining.tv.